Do you want to jump?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes!
Do you really want to do this?
No, not really.
Well, I do. Let's go together, shall we?
What?
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
No, wait, no.
Riggs!
Oh, it's okay.
This guy's crazy!
That was fun.
I'm too old for this shit.
When you lose your love and it makes your life turn cold, when it tears you apart, your heart and soul just can't go on. When love's alive, it sets you free. When it's gone, it's plain to see.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my 2021 re-review of Lethal Weapon. This is the 4-film collection box set, and each of the films is listed on the back on this side. I'll be reviewing the first film, or re-reviewing the first film. I technically reviewed this film back in 2018 when I watched the series for the second time. I'd already seen it earlier in the year, and then reviewed each film, and then did a ranking. I just rewatched that review, and I think it's in need of a re-review, a redo, even if I didn't have another reason why I'm doing this review. The other reason I'm redoing this review is because I am watching Lethal Weapon, or I should say I've watched Lethal Weapon as one of the films of my multiplex contemporary popular cinema course at university. It was the 4th film we watched, 4th out of 9. So, like with Wally last year, on one of the other modules, I'm re-reviewing this this film, to tie in with the module. So, yeah, and also if I have any opinion change of the film in the last 2 and a bit years. So, because I did the other review in October 2018, and it's now March 2021, or February 2021 when I rewatched the film. So, Lethal Weapon. The plot of this film sees a girl jump off from a tall building. This girl had been taking drugs, and she would have been poisoned. So even if she hadn't committed suicide, she would have died anyway. She would have been killed. Not sure what her reasons for jumping off the building were, but we see at the start she's just in bed or on the sofa, feeling the drugs, and then she jumps off the balcony. Perhaps maybe the drugs made her jump off the balcony. That might have been what it was. By the way, the film is set at around Christmas time, and we open on Jingle Bell Rock. It's the version of Jingle Bell Rock I used for the 2019 New Year and Christmas specials of Earth Agents, along with Let It Snow from Die Hard and Die Hard 2, which was also used in the 2020 Christmas special. Anyway, the music after the Jingle Bell Rock, which is played in the opening titles of the film, the music after is a really great track. I also use this track in another of my short films, the Stop, Look, Listen one. And it's a really creepy track when Amanda's, that's the girl, is in the bed, and then she goes off to jump off the balcony. And it's a really great track. After this happens, homicide detective Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, is tasked with investigating what happened, and he is joined by his new partner, Martin Riggs, who was previously on the narcotics side before joining the homicide division. Murtaugh has a big loving family. He's got a wife and 3 children, one of which, Rianne, is going to be a key player in the story of this film, for reasons we'll get to later. Meanwhile, Martin Riggs, on the other hand, is widowed. His wife was killed in a car crash. I'm not sure whether this film, because they say it's like a few months ago or something, but then it says 1984 on her gravestone, and this is 87, I believe, or 86. So, but let's see, in the last couple of years, Riggs has lost his wife in a car crash. She might have been pregnant with their child. I'm not sure. I might be getting that mixed up with Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which I think takes some inspiration from this, this idea for a character's motivation in that film. Also, maybe the TV series might have included the fact they were going to have a child, perhaps. And we actually find out how this occurs and why in the next film, Lethal Weapon 2. Yeah, with this film at the moment, Riggs is suicidal and he's very depressed and quite insane because he almost has a death wish. In fact, he pretty much does have a death wish, but he keeps carrying on because of his job, which he explains to Murtaugh in a great scene where he threatens to kill himself in front of Murtaugh. That is a great scene. There's some really great scenes throughout this movie. The scene just before that is Riggs helping a suicidal victim jump off a building, except Riggs knows they're going to land on the blow-up thing. This is after he attempts to get the guy down through talking, but being Riggs, it's not going to be as simple. Anyway, so the two mismatched detectives have to learn to get along with each other, as the usual buddy cop film formula goes, and they have to track down the bad guys and try and stop them. And over the course of the film, have kind of a relationship going, become friends, and have a strong bond by the end. Meanwhile, the villains are ex-military type of people who are smuggling a lot of drugs into the USA. And they will kill anybody who gets in their way, who tries to out them, etc. The father of the girl who committed suicide was involved in their scheme, but he was going to come to Murtaugh about it, so they tried to kill his daughter, and they threatened his other daughter's life, and then they get rid of him. And as the police continue their investigation, they then try to take out the police, and then also kidnap Rianne, as a way to get information from Murtaugh and capture him and get information from him. So that's basically the plot of this film. And this is a great film. It's a really fun and enjoyable action comedy adventure. I don't think I enjoyed it as much on the third viewing as I did on the first two, but I definitely think it's a great film. It might be the weakest of the... At this time of recording, I've seen 6 of the 9 multiplex films. Hope you're going to be supporting the 7th later. We'll see how it goes. But out of the first 6 I've seen, it probably is the weakest, but considering how good this film is, so that shows you how great the other films are in this module that I've seen so far. But yeah, this is still a really great film. The character interactions are great, although I do think they're going to get better over the course of the series. Of course, as the films go on, the characters are going to get going to have more interaction with each other. The development's going to, well, maybe not so much for Riggs, but the character will get better. The development will get better for most of the characters. I think Riggs gets better development in the second, gets a bit more development in the second film, but then he gets a bit more of a personality change for the third and fourth. But I still like the progression of the character, nevertheless, throughout the series. I think some of the characters who don't really do as much here in this film, like the captain and the psychiatrist, police psychiatrist, they don't get an awful lot to do in this film, but certainly with the captain, he's going to get more to do in following films, especially the third film, even be part of the family by the fourth film, part of the film series' family. I'm not so sure about the psychiatrist. I'm not sure how many more scenes she gets in the other films, but I expect she has a few more. It's been a while since I've seen these films. Certainly the Murtaugh family are going to get more screen time in the next couple of films. We're going to get a bit more of those characters, especially Rianne. Although she doesn't have as large of a part as in this film, in the other film, she's still going to pop up a few more times. I don't think the main villain is particularly that strong. I think he's a good villain for this film, but he's not particularly strong. He's just in charge. Honestly, he's overshadowed by his henchman, Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey. And yeah, I think Joshua is a great villain. He is really great, and even gets a good couple of boss battles and fights with Riggs in a few places. He's almost like he is kind of the main villain, but he's working for this other guy, so he's not really the main villain, but he's the one we get the most screen time with, and he's got some really great moments with him, and I thought he was a great character. I especially like the final fight at the very end between him and Riggs on Murtaugh's house's lawn, and then Riggs leaves him alive, and then he tries to shoot Riggs, and so Riggs and Murtaugh then fire back, killing him. That was a great scene, although the slow-mo, not so keen on the slow-mo in that bit, but it's still a really great fight and a really great end to the character, it was just a great character throughout. I think the second film also has this issue with where the henchman overshadows the main villain, because the second film also has a great henchman. However, I would say the main villain of the second film is also pretty good, pretty strong. He's certainly a step up from this film's main villain. So the second film's main villain is stronger than this guy, but both are overshadowed by their main henchman. And I think the fourth film, technically, Jet Li's character is also the main henchman, I think, sort of, I guess. So this film series is great for henchman characters, because they get to shine as strong main villains in their own right, as opposed to henchmen, which is probably what they're regarded as in the story. But in the actual film, they're kind of the main villains. The only film where I think the main villain is not overshadowed by his henchmen at all, in fact, is the third film with Jack Travis, who is a pretty great villain. He might be my favourite. I think he's the best of the main villains, like the hierarchy ones. But then you've got him in competition with these henchmen villains, who are certainly quite a lot more interesting than the main villains they're accompanying. So some great strong characters, some great cinematography throughout this film, and some great editing. I did mention the slow-mo bit at the very end with Mr. Joshua's death. I think it would have been better if it was in normal motion, but it's not something I don't like. I just think it could have been better as a normal motion, but I'm not gonna get all fussed about that. Some really great shots, by the way, throughout this film. There's a lot of great low angle shots from helicopters going around, maybe some cranes, I'm not sure, and some great high angle shots as well, like when we got the building that the jumper is about to jump off, and some really great shots as well, especially and some great shots in the desert where the drug dealers, the villains coming to meet Murtaugh, for their point of meeting, and yeah, it's a really greatly made film, and is handled really well. Richard Donner does a fantastic job directing all four of these films, and I think this one definitely shows that really well. I am a bit disappointed that sniper scene was cut, which is a deleted scene. They cut the sniper scene at the school, but maybe they thought that would be a bit too far, having a sniper at a school. Perhaps, I'm not sure. But it was still a great scene there, along with the scene where Riggs busted some drug dealers earlier on, a different group. Shows really well his more suicidal death wish side of him earlier on in the film. It did go on a bit long, so maybe that's why they cut it as well. A reason why they cut it. The music by Michael Kamen is pretty good in this film, though it might get better in the later ones. I think Kamen does a better job scoring the first 3 Die Hard films than Lethal Weapon, and also Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Those are some really great scores, but I think he does some good scores throughout the Lethal Weapon films as well. Some pretty great stuff, and has that Pacific coastal musical feel. I'm not quite sure what the type of music is, but it definitely feels like a score that sounds like you are on the west coast of North America, Central America, or South America, or one of the Pacific Islands. And I think Kamen manages to incorporate that quite strongly into License to Kill when he comes to make that film. Maybe it's a bit sort of Spanish music in there. Maybe that's what it is. So overall, Lethal Weapon, this is a great film and a really enjoyable one, a great buddy comedy film, and a great way to start off the Lethal Weapon quadrilogy. I will be giving this film a 9 out of 10.
How even love can become a lethal weapon. when you lose control and you scare yourself sometimes.
Brilliant film, really great film. I did say it was the weakest of the 6 films I've seen for my multiplex module so far, but then again, the other 5 films also really great as well. Some pretty strong stuff here. So all 6 of these first 6 films, I'll get to the next 2 in a bit, are also pretty strong. And I've heard some good stuff about the other 3 as well, so we could be looking at a pretty strong module. Also, this is my 3rd favourite of the 4 Lethal Weapon films. I think the 3rd film is weaker, but the 2nd and 4th are stronger. In fact, I love the 2nd film. That one is so good. That is so good. You can check out my reviews of those other 3 films and the original review of this film on this channel now. There's a playlist, and I'll also put this video in that playlist as well. And also my 2018 ranking of the films. The question is, will I re-review the other films and maybe do a re-ranking if I re-watch them again? Possibly. But I only really re-reviewed this one because of the fact that it was part of the multiplex module for my university course, and also the other review really needed an update. The other 3 might as well, but might wait a bit for those ones. They might not be in much of a hurry for that. Also, Lethal Weapon 5 is also in development, so perhaps maybe they'll be re-reviewed by the time the 5th film comes out. Maybe, I'm not promising anything. I'll definitely update the ranking once Lethal Weapon 5 comes out. That is kind of in development. It probably won't come out for a few years because A, they've got to write and develop the film, and B, we're in a current pandemic, so things filming when they do get around to it is going to be a bit tricky. Or it's going to have some restrictions on it. But I expect we'll see Lethal Weapon 5 within the next 5 years. Hopefully, give or take, it will have Richard Donner back as director and Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in their roles as Riggs and Murtaugh. So I'm looking forward to that film when it comes out in the not-too-distant future, hopefully. Hopefully, unlike Die Hard 6, it won't be put to rest again. Oh, boy. Oh, poor Die Hard 6. I hope that film does get made at some point, especially after the 5th film ended on such a weak note. But that's the Die Hard films. That's a completely different series. You can check my reviews of those and the ranking. But this is the Lethal Weapon franchise. Hopefully Lethal Weapon 5 will bring the series to a great closure. I thought 4 was a good ending, but I think 5 has the potential to be an even better ending. So fingers crossed for that. Anyway, so that's it from my review of Lethal Weapon. Thank you for watching. Next film in my multiplexed contemporary popular cinema module that I will be reviewing will be Point Break, which, funny enough, also stars Gary Busey as the 3rd main character of that film. Just like this film. And if you're watching this review in the Lethal Weapon film review playlist, the next one is, of course, Lethal Weapon 2, which is my personal favourite. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Point Break, or if you're watching this in the Lethal Weapon playlist, Lethal Weapon 2. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Looks like we're going to have to register you as a lethal weapon. We're rich again.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Bloody birds outside. This is now March 21. 2021. Oh, it's going to be 2019. Back to the plot of the film. After this happens, homicide detective Martin. No, not Martin. Sorry. After this happened, back to the plot, which I know. I think, but But yeah, Riggs is depressed because he's lost his wife a few years ago, and we actually find out what. Well, we know she dies in a car crash, but we find out what caused that in the sequel, in the next film, the second film, the first sequel. The villain's plan, on the other hand, and it is a really great film. This is really strong, and I think the I'm not so sure about the psychiatrist. It's been a while since I've seen the other films, but she probably has a bit more scenes as well. And he gets quite a bit of screen time as well, and one of the main characters kills him. Well, actually, so, yeah, but I think especially Mr. Joshua is definitely a key example of that. I did mention the slow-mo bits towards the end, but I'm not too worried about that. But I mean, I don't think it quite. I did no, but it does. It's not really any. It's not anything that. Like you would get in. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but it definitely feels like it's a film that would be set on the Pacific coast of North, Central, or South America, or even in the Caribbean. Maybe not quite, not the Caribbean type, not type. It's not Caribbean type music, but if you're on the Caribbean islands, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch. But it's more of a west coast of North, Central, and South America type of music. And a great way to start off the Lethal Weapon quadology. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I really enjoy. I would also say this is my third. In fact, I really love the second film. You can check out my reviews of those films as well as my original review of Lethal Weapon as for the next Lethal Weapon film, and if you're watching this review in the playlist of the